If you ever feel like your day starts off with anxiety, or you're feeling constantly rushed in the morning, or you wake up and you just feel that sense of overwhelm first thing in the morning, this video is for you because today I'm going to be going into 5 very simple Ayurvedic morning rituals to support you in calming and nourishing your nervous system. Now, if you're new to this channel, I want to go ahead and introduce myself. Hi, my name is Mel, and I am a kinesiologist, an Ayurvedic counselor, and a nervous system practitioner for over 15 years. And on this channel, I integrate Ayurvedic wisdom with modern nervous system science to help you calm, balance, and regulate your nervous system. And if you are a practitioner, to give you some tools and wisdom to support your clients as well. And so if that sounds like you can go ahead and you can subscribe to this channel and like this video if, of course, you like what I'm about to share with you. So as I named, today we are going into 5 very simple Ayurvedic morning rituals to calm and nourish the nervous system. And actually, before we even get into the 5 rituals, I'm giving you like a bonus. There's almost like a 6th bonus tip that comes in here, which is that from an Ayurvedic and even a neuroscience perspective, being in a ritual, having a ritual or having a routine by its nature is very regulating and nourishing for the nervous system, because your nervous system, as we will learn on this channel, it wants and desires safety. And routine and predictability and familiarity are all things that can give the nervous system and can create a felt sense of safety within the nervous system. So even doing and having a very simple morning routine, as we will go into, in and of itself is a very nourishing practice for the nervous system. So my hope and my intention is you even take 1 or 2 of these very simple practices that I'm going to be outlining, you begin to implement them within your own life, or even maybe begin to gently nudge your clients in the direction of having some sort of a morning ritual or morning routine, because this is going to really support the nervous system in many, many ways. So the very first thing that I'm going to say as a morning ritual or a morning practice is to actually create consistency in your wake time. So waking and rising at a consistent time during the day is going to be really, really helpful for the nervous system, because again, as I named, the nervous system loves and thrives on predictability. So the more predictable our morning wake times can be, the body begins to align with that rhythm and it starts to feel very safe within the nervous system. Now, from an Ayurvedic perspective, I mean, there are many different thoughts around this. There are some Ayurvedic texts that speak about waking as early as, 5 a.m. at Brahma Muhurta, or, waking before the sun rises. That might not be accessible for all people. So what I am going to say is that find a time that feels realistic and reasonable for you. You can actually work backwards. If we know that we need around 8 hours of sleep, you can say, okay, if I go to bed at 10 p.m., that means that the earliest I can really wake up is about 6 a.m. So you can work backwards that way to make sure that we're getting enough sleep, because sleep is very important and nourishing for the nervous system, but that we are able to wake up at that consistent time. Okay, so the very first thing you're going to do is wake up at a consistent time and notice over time, track over time, how that supports and nourishes your nervous system. All right, so the second practice that I'm going to name is probably something that you're already doing. You're at least already doing half of this. At least I hope you're already doing half of this. And that is brushing your teeth and scraping your tongue. So Ayurvedically, what we want to do when we get up in the morning is we want to eliminate the toxins from the mouth. So when we sleep at night, our body is processing and eliminating a lot of, well, not eliminating the toxins. We're going to eliminate them with our poop a little bit later, but it's also eliminating them up through the throat. And you might notice in the morning that you have a little bit of like a white layer on the top of your tongue. This is called ama, or toxic buildup in Ayurveda. And so what we want to do in the morning is we want to brush our teeth and scrape our tongue. You could also do oil pulling as well, but I know for some people, it might just take a little bit more time. Maybe you're rushed. So I always just say brush teeth, scrape tongue. They're super quick. You can do it in like a couple of minutes. You can stack them together. So that's why I recommend that. But you can also do oil pulling if you're feeling fancy and called to do that. But these are 2 practices that are, of course, going to clean the teeth, but they're also going to remove ama from our tongue and from our digestive system, so that when we move on to the third practice that I'm going to name, what we're taking it, we're not re-ingesting that ama back in the body, right? We don't want to be re-ingesting the ama. We want to be getting rid of the ama, or the toxic buildup. Now, the interesting thing about whenever I tell people that brushing your teeth and scraping your tongue is actually a morning ritual is they're like, oh my God, I'm actually already doing that, or they're already brushing their teeth, right? And so something I want to reflect back for you and that you can reflect back for your clients is that even something as simple as, yes, brushing your teeth, this is a practice, it's a ritual, it's something that you do. It is a consistent thing that you do in your day, that you do in your life, and it brings a level of familiarity into your life. And so notice if, like for me, the very first thing I do when I get out of bed is I go to the washroom. I actually pee first. So I pee first, TMI, and then I will brush my teeth and I will scrape my tongue. And the brushing my teeth was always something that I did initially. And then as I learned Ayurveda, scraping the tongue, and occasionally when I have time, oil pulling, these were practices that easily sort of came along with that. So if you're already brushing your teeth, yay, you do have a morning ritual. It's not that hard, I promise. And you can just add in tongue scraping beside that. Okay. Now, the third thing that you're going to do, so we're going to scrape the ama from our tongue. We're going to get all of the, bacteria out of our mouth via brushing our teeth as well. Then what I would love for you to do, number 3, is go and have a warm cup of water. This is not water. This is coffee because it's not first thing in the morning for me. But the first thing you're going to do after you brush your teeth and you scrape your tongue is you're going to cleanse your digestive system with, you can either do just plain warm water. You can put CFC cumin, fennel, coriander tea. If you are someone who is more kapha, you could put a little bit of like lime or lemon, which can help again to just sort of cleanse the digestive tract a little bit more. But having some sort of warm cleansing beverage first thing in the morning is another very beautiful ritual that is going to support the digestive tract, number 1. So it's going to help to clear out toxins, which is going to also support elimination. So if you are not someone who takes a bowel movement regularly in the morning, this is definitely going to support you. But what it also does is that energy of warmth that we get from the warm water or the warm beverage is going to help to support Vata dosha. Now, we will learn at some point on this channel, or if you've been following me on social media for some amount of time, or you know about Ayurveda already, we know that Vata dosha is the Ayurvedic dosha, the bioenergetic force that rules over the nervous system. And so when we invite in qualities of warmth, which is a quality that is calming for Vata, there is a nervous system calming effect that has. So, of course, if you're living in a very hot tropical climate, for example, I am in Goa at the end of March right now. It is getting really hot. So I'm not having it like scalding hot. I'm having it like lukewarm. Okay. So, of course, Ayurveda, we will go into the principles of like increases like and opposites balance. We want to be mindful of our environment. This is always going to influence the practices that we do, but bringing in qualities of warmth is going to be supportive and nourishing as well. Now, the fourth practice that is very powerful, it's something that lots of actually modern scientific research has been, coming out around, which is getting morning light exposure. This is a powerful practice for so many reasons. In fact, I will do a whole other video dedicated specifically to getting morning light exposure. But what I want you to know about it is this: getting morning sunlight. And I want to be very clear, not just any morning light, like morning sunlight in your eyes, not staring at the sun, but getting just the general, like going outside and having your eyes bathed in that light is one of the most nourishing things that you can do for your circadian rhythm. Okay, so morning sunlight is going to initiate the secretion of cortisol, which is a good thing in the morning. Cortisol is not all bad. We actually need cortisol secretion to get up and get moving. In Ayurveda, we can think of this as rajas, right? We need rajas, we need movement, right? Or even that pitta, that fiery quality. We require that mobilization energy to get us up, to get us going, to moving toward our goals. We just want to have it in a balanced and regulated way. So morning sunlight exposure is going to stimulate the secretion of cortisol in an appropriate manner. It's going to set our circadian rhythm, and that's actually going to set us up for appropriate melatonin secretion at night. This is going to have a huge cascade effect on our hormones, on our nervous system, on all of our biological processes. So something as simple as getting 5 minutes of morning sunlight in the morning, very, very powerful. It's what we call like a high ROI, like return on investment practice, where if you can literally get outside for 5 to 10 minutes, or for me, I live in an apartment. Thankfully, I have a very big window that I can open in the morning and I just look out and I get that sunlight in my eye. There are various ways to do this. Also, if you live in a place where it's cloudy, the sun rays and the UV rays do still come through the clouds. So even if it's not directly sunny outside, if it's cloudy, you're still going to want to get outside and get that UV spectrum in your eyes, or that morning sunlight in your eyes, okay? So very, very powerful practice. And the cool thing is that you can stack these practices, right? So you can, of course, brush your teeth, scrape your tongue, you can sit and have your warm water while you're looking out at the morning sunlight. So that's just a really beautiful practice that you can bring into your day. And we can always look at how we can stack these varying habits so that we're not taking, 4 hours in the morning to do some sort of goddess ritual, right? One of my things when I became a mom was, oh my goodness, I don't have multiple hours in the morning to devote to these healthy morning practices. And you don't need 4 hours. You maybe need like 30 minutes, maybe less. You can modify them on various days to support what's going on for you, right? And so my intention is that I'm going to bring to you practical, realistic tools that you can use that aren't some like idealistic biohackers haven of all of these things. It's going to be things that you can actually tangibly and practically use, because your morning ritual should calm your nervous system, not stress you out. It should not become a to-do list of all of these things that you have to check off and you're bad and wrong and not good enough if you don't tick them off. It should be things that are deeply nourishing and deeply supportive for you. So that is my caveat there about any of the things that I share and any of the things that you see out there on social media and wellness influencer land. There are lots of podcasts. There are lots of resources out there giving you all of this information. And actually, my mission is to help you understand yourself and your body enough that you don't unknowingly do practices that are not right for you, or feel like you need to do 55 million things in the morning or in the evening, or do all of these crazy biohacking things that are perhaps very expensive or very time consuming. I'm going to help you understand what are the things you actually need to do. Let's root back into nature. Let's root back into ourselves. This is where the real wisdom lies, right? We have the wisdom in our bodies. And my mission is to help you tap back into that inner wisdom that was always there, to understand your body and your mind so much that you understand the practices and the rituals and the tools that are going to be supportive for you and your unique nervous system. And you can help your clients do the same, which is super cool. So the fifth practice is really something that I like to leave a little bit open to interpretation for the day. And when I'm recommending things to clients, or I'm recommending them to you here on this, either whether you're listening to it as a podcast or a YouTube video, I like to start people small and have them build up. So for me, what this looks like, these 4 things that I just named, I do every single day. They are my non-negotiables. Every single day I do these things. Now, the 5th ritual is more like active nervous system management practices. And I probably do 2 to 3 of these things per day. And I'm going to break down what that could look like for you. But if you're just getting started, maybe you do one of these things. Okay. So this would be like a breath practice, a meditation practice. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Amazing. There's a thumbs up here. I'm recording this on Zoom. So cool. A breath practice, a meditation practice, and or a movement practice. So I will do 2 to possibly 3 of these things every single day to support and nourish my nervous system. Again, if you are brand new to this, you are going to want to attune to what feels best for you and maybe start with one and then build yourself up. So of course, breath has a very powerful effect over the nervous system. In fact, it is the one system of the body that is both controlled by the autonomic nervous system and that we can consciously control to affect change in the autonomic nervous system. So consciously connecting to and attuning to our breath and modulating our breath in a certain way every day can be a very powerful way to calm and regulate the nervous system. Now, on a day-to-day basis, I maybe do 5, maximum 10 minutes of a breath practice, and I am always aligning that breath practice to the current state of my nervous system and my current doshas. So I'm either doing something that's a bit more stimulating, depending on my state, or something that is more grounding, depending on my state. And if you are curious about understanding your nervous system states and the doshas and how they connect, I actually have a free Ayurvedic nervous system quiz. You can go ahead and you can download that in the show notes, either here on YouTube or over on the podcast. Okay, so go ahead and download that. It'll give you some great insight into the state of your nervous system, how that aligns to the doshas, and the different practices that you can favor depending on your current state. Okay. So I will do a breath practice. Again, I'm not making this super long. I don't have a ton of time in the mornings. So I'm doing some sort of breath practice. I will do, again, a short meditation and some sort of a movement practice. For me, that's either yoga asana, running, or a weight-based practice. I'm also, and again, this is like for advanced people, I'm aligning that also with my cycle. So as a female, I have a 28-day cycle. And as I near my menstrual cycle, I notice that I don't have as much energy. So lifting heavy weights or going on a long run is not what's going to be appropriate for me at that time. I'm actually going to want to honor my body and do things that are a little bit more grounding. I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself with that, but I did just want to name that for people who, are maybe like at that next level and want to kind of go deeper. You can obviously, of course, align these practices with your cycle as well. So the beautiful thing about these practices that I just named is that they actually support what I call multi-dimensional healing. They are supporting the nervous system in all the dimensions, right? So we are creating stability by virtue of just having some sort of ritual and consistent routine. We're supporting the body through, of course, breath and through physical movement. We're supporting our prana or our subtle energy through the breath. We're supporting the mind through meditation. We are supporting our hormones through, aligning with circadian rhythm and getting that morning sunlight. We are able to nourish and support the nervous system in this truly multidimensional way. It's not only about therapy or mindset healing, and it's not only about somatic healing, it's really about the integration of all three of these things, right? The integration of the mind, the body, and the spirit. And as we deepen our own journey, we can identify which layer of my being requires more nourishment in this season of my life. Is it my mind? Is it my body? Is it my spirit? And we can then focus and attune to more practices that would support those layers of our being as opposed to just the body or just the mind or just the subtle energy, right? We can start to make our healing a little bit more nuanced and more specific to our unique needs. All right, so those are my top 5 Ayurvedic morning rituals to support and nourish your nervous system. As I named earlier, you do not have to do all of these. In fact, if you are brand new to this, I would not recommend that you do all of these. I would recommend that you start slow and steady. Pick 1, maybe 2 of these things to bring into your morning routine. And once you have successfully integrated that for 1 or 2 weeks, then add another one, right? We want to progress slowly and steadily into this. As I named earlier, Vata dosha is the dosha that rules over the nervous system. And anything that changes things too quickly, right? So Vata dosha rules over the nervous system, but it is also responsible for movement. And so anytime we move or we change things too quickly, it can be very dysregulating for Vata and also for the nervous system, because the nervous system loves familiarity. So we want to gently create familiarity with these new practices and new rituals, and then slowly add in new ones. All right, so I would love for you to share with me in the comments which one of these rituals you are going to be trying out this week, what really resonated for you inside of this episode. And if you enjoyed what I shared in this video, I would love for you to give it a like and to give us a subscribe here on YouTube or a subscribe over on the podcast. I am so glad that you are here, and I will see you in the next video.